unlikely, but possible. So we had the Subbuteo World Cup this weekend in Kent, and controversy. England crashed out at the quarter-final stage. And joining us now, a man who watched all of it unfold. He was commentating at the event, our old mate, Jonathan Beales. Good afternoon, Bealesy.
Good afternoon, Paul. Good afternoon, Andy.
Wow. So I watched a bit of footage. You posted some out of you on commentary duty. So what went on in that quarter-final? What was the controversy in that England-Italy game?
Well, the controversial thing on that was that England felt that they had scored, and it was a Russian linesman situation where there was a diagonal shot into the far corner, and England felt that they'd got a goal, and the match was stopped, and all the players started looking at the coach and the referee, and the referee was under pressure. But in Subbuteo, the ball has to be 100% across the line. It's got to be completely over. It can't be.
Yeah, it's all football. And there was no goal line technology then. The watch didn't go off.
There's only a tiny little watch here.
Yeah, and there was no VAR. So unfortunately, but even if England had got that goal, that they wouldn't have won the tournament. I don't think, because for me the story of the tournament, particularly on the Sunday, was the dominance of Italy. I mean, they were incredible. Out of the 6 finals, which were taking place in the tournament on Sunday, they got through to 5 of the 6 finals. They got through to, and they won the veterans, the elites, the under-20s, and the under-12s. They were absolutely incredible. So fair play to them. But England did get through to the final on the veteran stage. Bob Varney was over celebrating in the semi-final. He got a goal in the golden goal stages, but again they lost to Italy in the veteran stages. But he did over celebrate. I was expecting Roy Keane to appear and the celebration place just to call him out on it.
So were these Anglo-Italians, or were they teams that had come over from Italy for the event?
They had come over from Italy. Yeah. Everybody had travelled from their respective countries. We had teams from Japan, teams from across Europe, teams from Australia as well, and they had all travelled and they had all put the effort in. But just seeing like the professionals play, because on the Saturday it was the individual event. So essentially you had the very best Subbuteo player, and that went to Demetrius Dimopoulos. I did actually practice that before I came on.
Oh, well done.
And he's Greek, and
you don't say.
And he won the individual event. So he's actually the world's best Subbuteo player.
You're supposed to struggle with Greek names on this station.
I do struggle.
I know.
Try and get him on breakfast tomorrow, shall we? That'll be good.
There was a lovely Patrick Kidd who wrote the piece for the Times today. A lovely turn of phrase here. He said, almost 80 years after its creation, the game is resurgent. Subbuteo is alive and flicking.
Yeah,
I wish I'd thought of that.
Also, it's good. He's right. I'm just looking at some pictures from the event. There's a lot of young people there. So they've gone, young people who've gone analogue, Jonathan, despite your best efforts to get them into computer gaming.
Well, the thing is about when you play, and I mentioned this on Wednesday, when you're playing, you have a player manager role. So you're managing your players in such a way that when you play football video games, you're only really concentrating on the ball and the player in play, because the AI is moving your other players around. But when you've got a pitch like this, when you've got a Subbuteo pitch, as I said before, it's a cross between chess, snooker and football. And it's always management. And what the professionals do, and what I noticed that, the very, very top pros, is that their player management is absolutely spot on. There's no wastage. When I'm playing Subbuteo, there's players all over the pitch, which have been flicked and they haven't been put back into position, because in Subbuteo you have a shooting area, which is just a line just above the D, goes all the way across. And when teams set up, they have 6 or 7 players in defence, so they're in a straight line across. And what the pros do all the way through is that they're managing to hold their defensive shape, so that when players attack them and they're out of possession, it forces the play wide. They're always forced into the wide areas. So it means that in that line of 6 or 7 defenders, they're hoping that their opposition are going to commit defenders. But when they are committed, the professionals, they will always maintain their shape and keep them back. Because a lot of the goals scored were from diagonal positions. And so just inside the shooting area, just on the touch line, and you had a player blocking, and they would lift the ball blast it over the keeper into the far corner. And there was a lot of that. And it was incredible because most of the top teams that I noticed and the top countries played a very slow, methodical game because it's all about the player management. You have to keep your defenders back. You have to keep your shape. It was incredible to watch.
Brilliant.
I'm bringing out a Subbuteo streaker that you can bring on.
I suppose they can. Well, you have sort of Subbuteo pitch invasion and all that. So.
Selfie taker.
Did they have the floodlights? They used to have the floodlights back in the day. You don't need them, I suppose, do you?
Not really.
In the World
but
Championship.
But you see, now you do have the collectors who are very much respectful of the old Subbuteo as well, and the way it was in the 50s and the 60s and 70s. But I was quite impressed with Malta, actually, because apparently in Malta about 15 years ago, Malta, like Britain, we have Sports Personality of the Year. And in 2010, a guy called Massimo Cremona won Sports Personality of the Year as a Subbuteo.
Wow, really? That is nuts. That is nuts.
I know. And so that in itself created publicity in Malta. And Malta have got a very, very strong team, particularly in the seniors and the veterans, and also in their professional team.
It doesn't say a lot for the rest of Maltese sport, does it? Really?
Jonathan,
let's be honest.
We got to go. Good to talk to you. Thanks for filling us in.
Bealesy.
Cheers, guys.
The Hawks.